Hi, I'm Madeline Lee. This is Melissa, and tell us what you do for work.
Hi, my name is Melissa Minihan, and I work for Genesis on the marketing team.
What do you do on your job, like your typical day to day look like?
It's a great question. What I do for Genesis and marketing is experiential and partnerships. So my day to day can look wildly different. In February, you'll find me working on the Genesis Invitational at a golf course. But in September, I'm going to be in Austin at Coda Racetrack working with our racing team. So it changes depending on the season, but for the most part, my day to day is making sure our Genesis experiential programs, which can range from sports partnerships like our partnership with the PGA Tour or to a racing event like we're in World Endurance Championship circuit. Um, Making sure those programs are ready to go, and we're doing all we can to let everybody know about who Genesis is.
Nice. And how did you end up working at Genesis?
Through relationships and some friends, but I started right out of college working for an experiential agency. And so that's probably where I got my love for just doing events. And all the clients we had at that agency were automotive clients. So I started working with Toyota, then moved to Honda Acura. That's how I met my husband. He was also on the Acura team. And then I've worked as well with Nissan and Infiniti. After we got married, had a baby, and it started getting hard to travel a lot. So I wanted to find a company that would let me be a little bit closer to home in Orange County. So a friend who works for Hyundai and Genesis brought me on over. And it's been 5 years and it's been really fun.
Did you always plan on working for marketing in like these car companies?
Not really. I always wanted to work in live experiences. I love parties since I was a kid, and I love watching people connect with each other and big groups of people coming together. So it's always been fun planning small scale dinners to like big, massive auto shows, and watching how different audiences from kids to adults come together, families come together, and how they enjoy and learn. Cars are great because they are big and everyone needs one, and it's usually one of the most expensive purchases you'll make in your life. So to convince someone to buy your car is kind of fun. Our budgets are pretty big too, so we get to dream up some really big ideas and think about how can we help launch a car. And I get to work with our PR team to bring a car launch to life. That's what I'm working on right now for an event in San Francisco in August. So yeah, I think I always liked connecting people. So that's what attracted me most to the job. And then auto is just what I've always kind of done.
Interesting. What is the most exciting part of your job?
I don't think this is for everyone, but I like that it's always changing. So I know every day is not going to be the same because we get a lot of curveballs. And I'll share a story. For example, in 2025, we were planning the Genesis Invitational, which is a big golf tournament. Thousands of people come out. It was in the Pacific Palisades. And about 4 to 3 weeks before, the big fires broke out in LA. My team had been planning for months and months all to do it in LA. And within 10 business days, we had to pivot the whole program. We ended up moving it to San Diego so we could still host it. But our minds and hearts are still really with like the people of LA and all the homes that were lost and the people that were fighting the fire. So it was kind of this crazy moment where we came together with a lot of different business partners, moved the event, and then used the event to help raise money and give back. And if you had asked me 6 months ago before that, this is where we'd be, I'd say no way. So every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm not sure what's going to happen. We make a plan, but we have to always be ready to pivot the plan. And some of the things we've had to do are pretty crazy, but it's really fun because of the people we work with.
What is your Genesis Invitational like? Like what happens during the event?
So it's a golf tournament. So if you've ever watched like the Masters or any of the big like FedEx Cup Championship, it's essentially a big golf tournament. But the way Genesis approaches it is we think of the players and the caddies. How can we have the players have a really good time? Because if they're having a great time, they're going to play really well. And if they're playing really well, then we think of the fans. The fans are going to come out and enjoy watching golf. I didn't used to watch golf or love golf, but I've learned for my job. And it's actually a really fun day out on the course, just walking around, watching the players play. And then we have to think about how do we tell the fans about our cars? And so you're coming you know, if you like golf, you would come there and you'd want to watch the golfers and maybe like play in a simulator or putt. And I'm going to think as a marketer, how can I place a car nearby and do something fun where they want to learn about the car, but they also want to play with the golf and just give them a good time. So we think of everything from like giving out posters, stickers, what giveaways and food can we do, and how does it come back to the Genesis product, the car and the brand. As a Korean brand, we get to do things that are Korean culture. So we'll do specialty coffees or special things like working with a Korean beauty brand right now to do a partnership with Genesis. So yeah, even though it's a golf tournament, we're thinking of ways to engage all of our fans and our special guests that we have coming out there. So if you were to come there, you could have an experience where you come to our lounge, you get a free coffee and watch, you know, the golf. You could golf, you could explore the cars, and we give away a lot of free things too.
Do you work as like a big team for your marketing?
Yeah, it's a pretty massive team. On a marketing team, you're going to have a lot of different groups. You'll have your social group doing all the fun content like what you make. And that group has a lot of fun hiring influencers and making specialty content to do promotion and talk about our new cars or specialty features. We have .com, which is the website. And, you know, we're going to come out with a concept car. Let's make sure it's featured on the website. How do you want to lay it out? What kind of copy do you want it to be? What pictures do we need to go catch? And we hire photographers to do specialty shoots. You have the brand team. They make the commercials. So all the things you see on TV, there's a whole team of people that build scripts, talk about sets. They hire the directors and the actors, and you pick what outfits are going to wear, and do a lot of reviews, and you get to go to really cool locations to shoot it. My team, we do partnerships. So we talk to big groups and say, how can you help us let a lot of people know about the brand? PGA Tour is an example. And then we do events. So we'll go out and pick a few events that we want to show up at and talk about how do we want to show up at the LA Auto Show. My team gets to design from the ground up. How's it going to look? Who are we going to hire? What are the fun things we're going to do and give away? Trying to think if I got everybody. And then we have customer relations. So how do you talk to, if you signed up and wanted to get emails, that team on the marketing team builds the emails. What does it say? And how do we attract you to come check us out?
Nice. Have you been to lots of events or special shows with Genesis?
I have a lot, and the job's cool in that we're a global company. So I've been able to go to some pretty cool places. I've been to Korea to see our headquarters, and for us to really understand who the brand is, they did everything from they took us to a racetrack and they had professional drivers drive us around. We went to the factory. We got to see how the cars are built on the assembly line, which is really neat. I've been to Scotland, where we have another golf tournament, to see the Genesis Scottish Open. So not only do I get to travel around the US a lot and check out things, but I think our company, if you find a global company to work for, you can go around the world doing cool things.
Do you have like, what are your main responsibilities like for your job?
The main one is I like to think strategically for the team. How is our brand doing? Are we healthy? Like, does everybody know who we are? And how do I spread who we are to others so they can learn about us? I've worked for a lot of car companies. I have to say Genesis is my favorite. The design is beautiful. The performance is great. And the things we do are really fun. So I like to think about how can I help share that to people? I've been here for 5 years. When I first started, I think only like 2 out of 10 people knew who we are. And now, as of this year, we finally cleared average. Where now 6 out of 10 people know who Genesis is. But when I started 5 years ago, people would be like, what? Is it the band that you work with, Genesis? The Bible? Like, nobody knew. So it's been fun. I can see the work I'm putting into my job is growing our awareness. And then next, I want to grow opinion. Like, okay, you hear the word Genesis. Do you think cool? Do you think like, I want to go check it out? I want to buy it. So that's what marketers do, is they try to bring really positive perception. When you hear like Coca-Cola or McDonald's, you think a certain thing right away. What do we want people to think of when they hear Genesis? So that's the fun part of marketing that I think about.
What did you do in college that helped you with like the multiple jobs you had in marketing?
So in college, I was an English major. And at the time, I thought I wanted to go into journalism. So a lot like your mom, where I was thinking, okay, I want to write, I want to design, I want to create content. And back then, I know I'm dating myself, but like print media was big. Everybody read the newspaper. But as I was graduating, I could see digital was going big and we needed to be able to sell in digital. And I did, before I graduated college, talk to a bunch of journalists. I went to the LA Times, I went to the OC Register, and I interviewed journalists, just kind of like what you're doing now. And I said, what do you love about your job? What is hard about your job? Almost every journalist said, don't do it. They're like, it's a hard job, divorce rate's high, you never see your family. They basically scared me out of it. And so when I graduated college, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what I want to do. I studied in journalism. I worked for the Daily Bruin at UCLA. I thought I was going to work on English and writing and be really good in that field. And so graduating was a little scary, but I just kind of jumped and did something. And the first thing was an experiential event agency because I loved events and talking to people and connecting. And from there, I just stuck with it. And year over year, I've just learned a little bit more about my craft. I've gone to conferences and big event things to learn more about like what makes a good event, what makes a great, memorable experience. And here I am now. So what I would say is what you do in college doesn't matter as much as what your mind and heart are interested in. Definitely explore and get a good education, but you can also create the career you want, even if that's not what you studied.
Interesting. And what is a piece of advice you'd give young girls interested in joining the automotive industry?
So automotive is a boys club. You've probably heard this. In every boardroom I go in, it's predominantly male. But I do work for some very, very strong, amazing females. So I'd say 3 things. I'd say 1, find yourself a really great female mentor. I've worked with wonderful, super smart women, and it's been great watching how they conduct themselves in a very male-dominated industry. Number 2 is to not be scared. It might feel foreign and strange the first time you do something. And you might be telling yourself in your head, I'm scared, I can't do this. I like to reframe it as, you're not scared, you're excited. You're not scared. It's just a lot of adrenaline pumping through your body. Just do it. Because after you do it the first time, the second time isn't as scary. After you do it 5 times, it's not as scary. The 10th time, you're like, I got this, no big deal. And then the third one would be stick with it. Because I think I've gotten where I've gotten because I've just stayed steady with it. It's easy to jump around and you should learn a lot of different things, but automotive is a specialty field where you do need to know a lot about different things about cars and how the industry runs, how the business works, that once you've built that experience and knowledge, it helps you grow more within it. So, it's not hard to get into, but I think a lot of girls leave it. And so what I'd say is find a mentor, don't be scared, and then stick with it.
That's some great advice. Thank you for the interview.
No problem. Thanks for coming.